CNN Money. U.S. prosecutors are shining a light on the dark side of Major League Baseball. On Tuesday, federal prosecutors detailed allegations that Cuban-born baseball players were kidnapped and then extorted by a smuggling ring. CNN Money has been investigating this black market dating back, at least a decade. Jose Pagliari joins us now from New York. And Jose, this is an ugly and violent and also very lucrative business. Explain to our international viewers what you've uncovered.
Sure, thank you. So what's going on here is that everybody who watches Major League Baseball knows that Cuban players make up some of the most talented players in the league. And they were playing in Cuba, usually on the Olympic team or the national team. They disappear for a little while, and then they suddenly pop up in the United States making millions of dollars. What too few people have asked about is how they got here, how they moved here, and that's what these cases are about. So federal prosecutors are cracking down on the smuggling rings that transported players from Cuba to the United States. And the reason why is because these smugglers didn't just move these players across. They kidnapped them, held them against their will until they signed contracts with specific agents, and then landed deals with the MLB. And so this is a very dark side of baseball that doesn't get talked about very often, and it's one that involves human smugglers and even a drug cartel, Los Zetas, in Mexico. It's really dark stuff.
Okay, how long has this been going on for, Jose?
So this is what's interesting. This particular case looks at some actions that were taken by smugglers back in 2009 or so, but we at CNN have investigated similar cases, and we've seen that these go back to at least 2006, where baseball players relied on smugglers that took them through some very dangerous parts of Mexico to get them into the United States.
Okay, what does the MLB saying, the Major League Baseball, what are they saying? Do they know about this?
So the MLB has been quiet so far. We've reached out to the MLB many times in the last few weeks, and we have not heard back. And that's a real question here, because what we keep seeing in the court documents and elsewhere is that there is sort of this silent, sort of tacit approval of the process where actual scouts, professional scouts from the United States are visiting camps in Mexico where these players are held. And I guess questions don't get asked because somehow these players end up in the United States that went through this process, clearly went through this illegal underground process, and the MLB accepts these players, has these contracts signed, and even after these criminal cases get filed and tried in court, these players keep coming in and these contracts keep getting signed. So the question is open. What does the MLB know? We're trying to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, let us know when you do hear anything from them. But there is an upcoming trial of a gentleman called Bartolo Hernandez. Who is he and what's he being accused of?
So this is an agent in South Florida who signed at least 17 baseball players. And on the surface, it seemed like he's a regular professional agent that signs players into the league, into certain teams. But what prosecutors are alleging is that this agent actually helped initiate this smuggling ring and move specific players from Cuba to Mexico, leaning on a drug cartel to protect them while they were there, and move them here after signing extortive contracts that took a huge chunk out of their salaries. And so the question is whether or not this agent was actually a smuggler as well.